All right. So this is an unscripted, you know, thoughts on the Clone Wars series that I am currently starting. Never watched the Clone Wars before. So far, I have watched the film, the Clone Wars film from, I believe, 2008. First thing I noticed was it seems like it had a decent budget. I'm not sure about that. I haven't read a lot about it yet, but I thought the animation was pretty good. It seemed like there was a budget behind it. Uh, the opening action sequence and the action in general was pretty solid. What I'm really here for is the fleshing out of these characters uh, that in the main series films, I'm thinking specifically episodes 2 and episode 3, they are not as fleshed out as I wanted them to be. It seems like there's going to be a lot more nuance, a lot more filling in of characterization. That's what I'm excited to get into. This is the introduction of Ahsoka Tano, who is she's a Twi'lek, if that's how you pronounce it. With she's got the kind of two tentacles. I'm not sure what the race is, but she has been assigned as the Padawan to Anakin Skywalker, who does not he's not about it. It's seemingly this was kind of employed by Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda to assign Padawan to Anakin. And I did like, I think Yoda said, this is going to be Anakin's chance to learn to like make a connection to something and then be asked to see if he can let it go, when she's completed her training, ready to move on and become a Jedi Knight herself. Which, is a nice little insight into his character because Anakin has some abandonment issues. Absolutely. Uh, well, Anakin's got he's got a lot to deal with. um, but it's going to be, I'm very excited to see the arc of this relationship because at first, Ahsoka, she's real sassy. She is being snippy with Anakin, and so Anakin gives her the nickname Snips, which I know is something that's gonna come up later as kind of a that's their relationship. He calls her Snips. She refers to him as Sky Guy instead of Skywalker. But it's clearly very playful. Um, this relationship with them, even just during the movie, it's good. It's a good foundation because they are seemingly at odds. They're both kind of headstrong. They think they know what's right, even though she's supposed to be the teacher and he's now been thrust, or she's supposed to be the student and he's been thrust into this role of teacher. There's conflict, but ultimately, like they do respect each other. Yeah, it's good. It's good so far. Obi-Wan's around. He doesn't really get a whole lot to do here, which is fine. Uh, we already know a lot about Obi-Wan Kenobi. It starts with, essentially a battle in the middle of a battle between the separatist droid army of bad guys and the Jedi and clone army for the Republic. It's energy field that Ahsoka and Anakin need to disable by going behind enemy lines, essentially. And ultimately, they are successful. They defeat the separatists. There was a very funny. I think the funny thing that Obi Wan gets to do is when he is surrounded and seemingly, is forced to surrender to the separatists. What he does to buy time for the energy field to be deactivated by Anakin and Ahsoka is to essentially praise the separatist general for having taught him and then saying let's be civilized, let's negotiate the terms of my surrender. He like uses the force to like pull up like a rock table and rock chairs for them to sit on, and he's being very cordial, but it's all under the guise of biding time, which the separatist leader eventually figures out, and that was a good moment. Main plot of this, after that kind of opening classic Star Wars in media res battle happens, is that Jabba the Hutt's son has been kidnapped. I didn't need this. I didn't need Jabba the Hutt to have a son, or an uncle for that matter, which we'll get to him. His son's been kidnapped by Count Dooku. Count Dooku was an apprentice. I believe it seems like it's his apprentice named Ventress. And the thing that I'm curious about is like what that relationship is and where did she come from. Uh, she's real cool looking. She's got double lightsabers and she's like this, you know, she's a shaved head and she's really badass looking. But if Dooku, if I'm remembering correctly, if Dooku is the Sith, apprentice, and Emperor Palpatine, or not yet Emperor Palpatine, Supreme Chancellor Palpatine is the Sith Master, then who is Ventress and what is her role here? Is she a Sith? Is she has a lightsaber? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure quite sure what's going on there. Ultimately, yeah, Dooku is able to come to Jabba and trick Jabba into thinking that the Jedi were the ones that kidnapped his son and, are playing both sides of this. When in fact it is Dooku who is playing both sides of this. Yeah, fun, trickery kind of stuff. One thing I did notice, three of the actors from the films, the live action actors, voiced their characters in the movie. C3PO, who is there briefly. It was voiced by Anthony Daniels, which makes sense because Anthony Daniels takes every opportunity to play C3PO. Samuel Jackson was Mace Windu, even though he really only had like 4 lines. He wasn't in it that much. But Dooku was voiced by Christopher Lee. And I thought so because his voice is very distinct. And I love Christopher Lee's voice, so it was really nice to have him in this. Now we need to talk about how the Jedi are able to clear their name with Jabba. And that means we have to talk about Jabba the Hutt's uncle, which is Zero. Zero the Hutt. When Padme finds out that Jabba believes the Jedi are to blame for the kidnapping, she goes to see if she can gain favor with Jabba's uncle, who happens to live on Coruscant. Jabba's uncle doesn't speak like Huttese, I believe is what it is. It's what it said in the subtitles. He speaks just, I think it's basic, is what it's called. It's like common. He speaks English, but he also speaks in kind of a high, wispy voice, and he's bright purple. He's very colorful. He's got like a feather headdress. I think he has makeup on. I have to take a look, but quite a sight. And I was really not expecting that. And this was something that I did look up afterwards because I just needed to know like why were these choices made? Apparently, George Lucas wanted this Zero the Hutt character to look and sound like Truman Capote, or at least sound like him. Which, okay, it was a choice. Um, you know, essentially what's going on here, at least to my eyes, is some real intense queer coding, which, given that Zero the Hutt is a degenerate criminal, even among the likes of Hutts, he was planning to seize power by conspiring with Dooku. Uh, the fact that that character is also, he's got a lisp, he's got he's incredibly feminine, very heavily queer coded. That's a bummer. That sucks. Padme finds out that Zero is conspiring with Dooku. She's briefly, kidnapped by Zero, but she's able to break out, and the Republic, clone troopers, police arrest Zero. Padme sends a message with Zero saying, "It was me, I did it." Uh, while at the same time, Anakin has come to Jabba's palace along with Ahsoka. They bring back the child, who I don't believe is given a name, but the main thing that we know about him, it's part of the peril, I guess, is he's getting sicker and he needs medicine. Ultimately, he's able to get help on the ship that they take to get back to Tatooine from where they found Jabba's son. But he's very stinky, apparently. That's not something I really needed either, but whatever, it's there. But yeah, Jabba is reunited with his son. The plot against Jabba by the Separatists by Count Dooku is revealed, and then I guess Jabba lets the rebels, or not the rebels, the Republic, be able to pass through their territory. So that's more or less the plot. I really don't have a whole lot more to say about the Clone Wars movie. I thought it was okay. The best parts were the relationship between Ahsoka and Anakin, already pretty strong. The action was good. Nothing deterred me so much from watching it to, stop and didn't want to continue to watch the series. I thought it was a perfectly fine movie. And like I said, the Anakin and Ahsoka relationship was the core of it. Plot was almost secondary. And I like that relationship so far. So far, so good.